Here is an example showing you how to use the TI-84 Plus calculator to get both quadratic models and linear models. So the table shows projections of sales in billions of dollars of Viedrines Electronics in the United States from 2012 to 2016. So here we're given the years, here we're given the sales in billions of dollars. Part A, what is the quadratic function that best models these sales as a function of the number of years after 2010? Let x represent the number of years after 2010, and let y represent the number of billions of dollars in sales. So we're looking to get a quadratic function. So first you have to enter your data. So press Stat, press Enter to open the Edit menu. I'm going to go ahead and clear out my list. So if you accidentally delete your list, which happens a lot, to get the list back, you press the Stat button, and option 5, the Setup Editor, press number 5, and then press Enter, and your list should be back. And so go up here, highlight it, and press Clear. And I'm going to go ahead and enter my data values. So the first X value is 2, because 2012 is 2 years after 2010. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so go ahead and enter the other data values. Go to the top, highlight list 2, and press Clear, the down arrow, and all the data is gone. So you have 4.2, 4.5, 6.2, 8.1, and 9.6. And so, to get the quadratic function that models the data, you press the Stat button, go over to the right, highlight Calculate, and Quadratic Regression, option 5, press Enter, and list 1 and list 2 is automatically populated in most cases. If not, you can easily change it, or if you entered your data into list 3, you press Clear and press Second, option 3, that would change the list, but I would recommend sticking to list 1 and list 2 so you never have to change this. Press Second, number 1 to get list 1 back. So you shouldn't have to change this, but if for some reason you use a different list, you can. So your X values are in list 1, your Y values are in list 2, so you leave that the same. Frequency list, and this you do not do anything with. Go down to Calculate, press Enter, and it's going to give you the coefficients of that function. So A goes in front of x squared, B goes in front of x, and this is the constant. So you end up with y equals 0.186 x squared minus 0.046 x plus 3.360. And so there's our model. So graph the quadratic model and a scatter plot of the data using the given window settings. Okay, so to graph them, first we're going to go ahead and go to y equals. To have these scatter plots, the scatter plot appear, you have to go up here and press Enter to turn on plot 1. Go down here. I'm going to go ahead and type in the quadratic model. So 0.186 x raised to the second power minus 0.046 x plus 3.36. And you go ahead and graph it. And so my window settings, you always want to check and make sure they line up. Press Window, and you want your window settings, your x values from 0 to 10, so a minimum of 0 for x, a maximum of 10, and you want a scale of 1. Your window settings for the y's is 0, 20 as a maximum, and your scale needs to be 2. Go to Graph, and you're going to see the scatter plot and the model. So according to the model, what is the projected sales in 2019? Well, X represents the number of years after 2010. So 2019 is 9 years after 2010. So the x value that corresponds to 2019 is 9. So basically, they're saying here x is 9. So we use the model and we plug 9 into the model. And so you plug 9 in. And you get 18.012. So in the year 2019, the model projects the sales will be $18 billion. Part D. According to the model, in what year will the sales be 15 billion? So in this question, they didn't actually give you x. We're actually looking for x, right? Our model is this, y equals this quadratic. And so they're going to either give you x or y in the problem. In this case, we're actually trying to find x. They gave us y because y represents the sales, right? So we're trying to find an x value that gives us sales of 15 billion. So the way we solve this, there's different ways. You could use the quadratic formula. It's a quadratic equation. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use the calculator. So you go back to y equals, right? We already have our model here. So we leave that. We have our model. And so what you want to put in the other y2, you want to graph the quadratic and this line. So you're just going to put 15, right? And you want to graph both of those. And what's important is that you see where this quadratic and this line intersect one another. And we do see that, right? You want to find this value here. You want to find this intersection point. And the way we do that is you press second and trace. You want to calculate something. You want to calculate the intersection point. So you press second, trace, and it's going to open up this menu. And number 5 is intersect. So press option 5. And then you just want to press enter 3 times. So 1, 2, and then 3. And it's going to give you the intersection point. So your answer, we're looking for the x value, comes from this number here. So x is 8.034, so on, and y is 15, right? So our x value is actually a year. I mean, our answer is actually a year. So x is 8. So what year are we in? Well, in the year 2018, the model projects the sales will be $15 billion because 8 years after 2010 is 2018. So your answer is actually 2018. So what is the linear function that best models these sales as a function of the number of years after 2010? Well, we already have our data listed, so we can go ahead, go to Edit, press the Stop button, select the right arrow to highlight Calculate, and then we want to do a linear regression here. List 1, list 2, and leave the frequency list and this alone. Go down, press Enter. And our linear regression is y equals ax plus b, right? Equation of a line. So a is 1.44, b is 0.76. So this is the linear regression that we get. So graph the linear model and a scatter plot. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and clear this out. And our stat plot is on. This plot 1 is on. That means it's going to graph our scatter plot. And so I'm going to go ahead and type in 1.44x plus 0.76. That's going to graph the line for me. And I'm going to check my window settings. Press Window. We want from 0 to 10 and a scale of 1, 0 to 20 and a scale of 2. Right? We have that all set up already. So you press Graph. And it's going to graph the data. And it's going to graph the linear model. And that's it for this video.